Good morning, St Lucia, and welcome to another Notes of Interest. I am Anthony Charles. Remember to like our Facebook page, and you can view us on YouTube as well. This morning, we're going to be speaking with a gentleman who has grown up in the Caribbean but lived internationally. And the reason for this is we're going back into work. I want to spend the next 4 shows talking about how you can get a job post COVID-19, how you can keep that job, and how you can move up in that job. But before we deal with that, we need to deal with where we are now, our thinking. And joining me today is the amazing Neil Griffith, who works in Qatar. Some people say Dubai, the 7 Iranian states who've come together, but he works out there. And I want to understand, how did you get from the Caribbean to a place like that? And we're talking today about the power of thought. So good morning, Mr. Griffith. Welcome to Notes of Interest. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. I know you are very busy. You are you don't have time, but you have lots of time. So good morning.
Okay, good morning. So, morning, St. Lucia. Nice to meet you all. I'm McNeil. I'm from St. Lucia, as Anthony has already said. And, well, currently I'm on the island because of the COVID-19 thing going on. So the country shut down. I'm stuck here, but that's to my own advantage. So I've had, instead of being here for 2 weeks, which I would normally do every now and then, I'm here for 2 months so far. And taking in the island elements, the sun, the sand, the sea, everything, that comes with it, the beauty of St. Lucia. And what was the question you were asking me? Sorry, I'm just going freestyle here.
The question is, how does someone get from the small island like St. Lucia, the third world, a developing state, and find him or herself working in Dubai?
Well, I'll tell you something. It starts. You said something initially when the thing started, and you mentioned about the mind. So from a very early age, I had a fascination with aircraft, and for some reason, I love to read the Iliad Islander magazine. I used to read it a lot. My mother used to get annoyed because I was so obsessed with it. I used to bring them to the house and hoard them. So every issue that came out, I ended up reading them. And that fascinated me a lot. I was fascinated with travel, Europe and Australia. So it started in the mind. I knew I had to leave St. Lucia at some point and go out there to venture into the beauty of the world out there. I wanted to find out for myself, what is the world like? Even to the point where, so I'll take it step by step. In a nutshell, I left St. Lucia after my studies and everything. Then I embarked on the journey of starting off with Liat. So I worked as a flight attendant with Liat. That's when things changed for me in my life, because I started off my career in banking first, and then I realized I didn't want to be trapped in the office setting. I didn't like it. I wanted to be out there. So I started my journey with Liat. I was based in Antigua, then I moved on to Barbados. While I was a flight attendant with Liat, I told myself I have to go international. So I did research and I found out about the 3 major airlines in the Middle East: Emirates Airlines, Etihad Airways. Those 2 airlines are based in the United Arab Emirates. And then there's Qatar Airways, which is based in Qatar. So I had my eyes on those and I did research and I was just obsessed with it, if you want to call it that. And then that's when my journey started. And, I kept my eyes on the prize. But then life has a way it works out. I wanted to travel enormously. And then I thought I should seize opportunity. So it just so happened that while I was in Antigua base, at the time when I was ready to leave the Caribbean, I said, I've had enough. I've seen all the islands. I've enjoyed it enough. I want to move forward now. The opportunity came up for me to work as a jewelry consultant on cruise ships. So I took the opportunity because I thought to myself, I'll get to travel around the world, see many places. Those cruise ships take you to so many different destinations. In my job capacity, I would have to work on the ship while it's sailing only. But once we got to different destinations, I would get off. So that was a good thing. I found out a lot about it and then I embarked on that. While I was working as a jewelry consultant, I traveled to Europe. I went around all of Europe and I was like, wow, this is the dream happening. The door opened for me to become a shopping consultant. So I became a shopping consultant now. It was an even higher capacity than jewelry consultants. I got to work with some high-end brands and work with a lot of luxury stuff. So that started to develop myself, you know, with that kind of exposure. And then but I still kept my mind on being an international flight attendant. So I came on vacation here in the Caribbean. I came to St. Lucia, and then Qatar Airways of Recruiting. They came to Barbados for the first time. I bought my ticket, went to Barbados, went for the interview. Then I got in. I spent a few years in Qatar. Qatar is in the Arabian Gulf, okay? So I worked in Qatar, and then after that, I moved into another airline. I moved to the United Arab Emirates, and that's how I ended up going down to, I live in the United Arab Emirates, so that's in Abu Dhabi, which is right there, the capital city of the UAE, which is very close to Dubai, like just half an hour ride from Dubai. So this is my journey here, and I'll say so I left St. Lucia in 2004. It's 16 years already. It feels like 3 years. It just feels like only 3 years. I've covered the entire globe, had a lot of experiences, dived into culture, religion, opened up my mind to different lifestyles, different dynamics, different types of everything. So it was really served its purpose. What I had set in my mind, I brought into my own life by stepping out into it. And that's the shortest I've given the story of my journey.
So, but you know what's interesting about your story today is a number of times you said my mind, my thought, my decision. You took a risk. You bought a ticket not knowing if you were going to get this job in Barbados, but your mind was determined that you will go, and you kept saying it. And then you said, getting from the ship, you had your mind set on this. So I want to ask, how important do you think the power of thought is?
Well, there's a lot of, you know, I don't think, when I was much younger, I used to think I had the answers to everything. But now I make my life more simple, and I've learned to accept that we all have different ways of figuring out things in life. It's like a board game you're playing. I don't want to reduce it to such, but I'll use it as an analogy. So life is like a board game, and you've got to play. And when you enter the game, you don't know the rules, but you have to learn the rules. But so over the time, I've come to realize that when I set my mind on things, that's just me being me, I'm Anthony. When I set my mind on something, I do not lose focus of it. I don't let any distractions get in the way. If I know I want something, that's it. Now, procrastination, I can't say I've procrastinated, and I realize, and procrastination costs you. One of the things I would do is share my dreams with people, and then they would say, yeah, but. So I never liked that word. If there's something I could do to cut up a word, if I had been given a chance to eliminate one word from the English language, it would be but. Yeah, but. So I don't like but, because the thing is, my mind is set on something and I set myself out. So what I discovered along the years is that when I set my mind on something and I desire it, it's something that I'm asking of myself, from within myself. So it's up to me to act upon it. So no matter what evidence you give me of those who wanted the same and they didn't accomplish it, the point is, I set my mind up for that thing. That's what I want for me. So I don't let myself get deterred by other people's comments. I become obsessed with my goal and I go after my goal. And no matter what it takes, I'm going to go and get it. You know, so I developed a lot of self-confidence in realizing that when I want something, it started with my first step. I was going to Corinth Secondary School. I didn't go to St. Mary's College. Quite a few people think I've gone there. I went to Corinth Secondary School, and we know that, you know, people look at it, oh, it's not one of the highest schools. But I was there, and I had the intention of going to A-level. And in my time, you didn't have many Corinth students going up to A-level. But I made it. I made up my mind. The boys in my class and the girls were telling me, Gasa, who tell you you'll get there? I made up my mind. So that gave me more enthusiasm to go into it. And I made my dream come true. So when I saw that worked way back then, I said, wait, I can do anything I make up my mind to do. So that's the thing. So when I set my mind on traveling, that's what I set my mind out on, to travel. So the flight attendant thing became an option. It became very fascinating for me. I said, oh, that's an easy job. So I went into it. And because travel was what I wanted, the cruise ship thing came up, where I got the opportunity to make a lot of money and get to discover a lot of the world. So I'm like, hey, wow. So I took it. I got to travel in a high capacity. And then I wanted to be the flight attendant for the international airlines. So I set my mind on that. Now, keep in mind, I set my mind on it. I didn't just sit down and close my eyes and say, okay, it's going to come. I had to make up my mind and decide it is true to me. And that's what I wanted. And I'm not taking no as an answer. So I did, and then I took the necessary actions, which were in place, for me to get that thing to come true. So buying a ticket was what I had to do. I could have sat down in the corner and said, but that's a lot of money. And if I pay that ticket, what if I get that job? But that doesn't make sense. I would never know what would happen. So I had to trust myself and that higher power that flows from me and that surrounds me. Some of us call that higher power God. I had to trust the power and trust that it gave me the intelligence to want something. So now it will give me the way to make it. And keep in mind, when I bought the ticket to go to Barbados, I'd gone for other interviews for airlines before. I didn't get through. I could have let that stop me. I went for it again because my mind was set on I wanted to achieve that goal, and that's it. Nothing is going to stop me. And that's what most people do.
Two strong words you use. You talk about you were obsessed with the idea of working on the airline, and an obsession is a very strong word. It means that you were that was everything that you thought of. That was everything that you wanted to be. But you also said you trusted.
I trusted.
So could you talk to me about trust?
Trust, boy. Let me tell you.
Who should you trust?
You just have to trust. You don't know who you're trusting. You know, you have to trust. You have to trust that life knows its business already. You know, when a bird, I watch a lot of National Geographic and stuff like that. When birds, animals in general, they live by instincts and they set out to do what the instincts set them out to do. And they don't think twice. Now, we say that their intelligence is lower than ours. Ours is higher. But look at that. With their little intelligence, they step out. When a bird is in a nest, the mother takes care of it. And there comes a point in their growth. They have to start to fly. They were born to fly, not to sit in a nest. So there comes a point when they have to step out. And if they don't, the mother pushes them. And they just act on it. And they jump. They jump. Who says they're going to make it on the first flight? But they do jump, and the mother is there to protect them. So as an individual, as a human being of high intelligence, or so we think, when the creator puts something inside of you, the creator of the universe who we cannot see, that's a subject of its own on its own. But when the creator puts something inside you, God, if you want to call it that, even God puts something inside you. God gave birth to that thing in you. So the power of free will comes into effect here. You have to say yes. If you don't say yes, you will not flow. Now, the thing is, why a lot of us are sad and we're unhappy is because we have the desire for something that's in it, but we don't say yes because we don't trust. So you have to be able to trust. Now, I cannot see that higher power. I cannot see the creator of the universe, the architect. But by instinct, I could recognize around me. The earth goes around the sun. The moon goes around the earth, going around the sun. All the planets are in orbit and they're in synchronicity and they're in harmony. They're doing their thing. I'm part of that higher intelligence, but I cannot see it. So it takes care of me. So I have to trust it. And that trust comes without evidence.
How do you know what you want? You knew you wanted to be a flight attendant. A lot of people don't know what they want. Or they feel something. Say that again.
You have to feel it. It's a feeling.
Yeah, they feel something, but they're not sure about what they're feeling. So how do you know this is for me?
That's the thing. You have to talk to yourself. There was a time when I was still working as a shopping consultant, and I'll share some stuff extra here. I did make a lot of money, and most people think you go after something just for the sake of having money. Money is one of the end results, but life is about progress. And you don't want to aim only on the money, which is the material aspect of things. You want to be able to go after your growth, your self-development and fulfillment. Because you could make all the money in the world and not be happy and not be fulfilled. Then you're just existing. You're just drifting in life. Most people think the whole thing is just about having the money or the accolades or the toys to show off what they've achieved in life. Life is about achievement, but it's not. So it's a combination of all the things together. So having said that now, I used all of that so I could make the point that you have to know inside you what you want. I was making a lot of money as the shopping consultant, but I was no longer wanting to do it. I felt inside me, it's time to go after your flight attendant dream, your international dream. People were telling me, why are you going to leave that and go become a flight attendant? You make so much money. Look at you, have a prestigious job on the ship. It wasn't about that. It was about what I wanted. I felt it. So I start with my own self. And I always do that. Whenever I want to make changes in my life, I have to ask myself, what is it I really want? And I ask myself that question. The answer will come to you from inside. You'll feel it. You know, you say, you asking me, how do you know? You always know. And that knowing comes with a feeling. And it's something that's, you notice I took so long to explain it because it's so, I cannot explain it as fluent as I am. I can't explain it. But it's something that you have to know inside yourself. It feels right. You're just feeling something. Some people, a lot of people, they just chase after, I want to be celebrity. I want to be a singer because they see that person is performing and that person is achieving. So they want to be a so-and-so, so I could have a big house too. I could have a nice car. So they're asking for things that they don't truly innately want. So you see, that's why it seems very hard for them to achieve it. Or even if they achieve it, they're not happy with it because they're not doing what they truly want. But you have to be able to sit with yourself, by yourself, and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want to satisfy me? I could have stayed here in St. Lucia and work in my father's company, and I chose not to because that's not what I truly wanted. I knew I wanted something different. So you have to know what you want in life and then act upon that, live from that. And then we go back to the question of trust. You have to trust yourself and trust that higher power inside you and that's surrounding you. And that's how you get the results and the fulfillment that you want. So you get fulfilled, you get happy, you get developed, you get growth, you have discovery, and you make the money. And you have the accolades that come with that. Yep.
So do what you love and the money will come.
And everything else, not even just the money, everything else shall follow. You have to do what you want to do. And I'm living testimony because I do what I love. I'm an international flight attendant. I live in a beautiful city and I love it. I love what I do. I'm fulfilled. I'm happy doing it.
So we're going to spend the next 4 shows speaking to HR managers and coaches about, first we're going to start off with how to get the job, and then we're going to look at keeping the job and moving into moving up in the job. I wanted to ask about keeping the job from you, and we will deal with that in a whole show, but you were with one of the largest and the best airlines in the world. How does somebody stay in that and move up in that? Because you've also moved up.
Boy, you have to be yourself in life. I don't think I have a formula for success based on everybody's experience, but based on my experience. I don't like labels and definitions and stuff like that. I realize I love being me. I enjoy being me. I'm at my happiest and optimum state when I'm being me. Just be yourself. I have worked for different companies and I remember one of my CEOs, when he met me the first time, I walked up to him and he says to me, I was walking up to him to shake his hand. And he says to me, I went to shake the hand like that. And he goes, your name travels before you. Hi, Mr. Griffith. Your name travels before you. And that stuck in my mind. It was an Englishman. I was working for a British company at the time when I was doing the shopping program on the cruise ships. He said, your name travels before you. I don't act. I don't put on a show for people. I am just being myself. I love being myself. I cannot enter an environment, and I do train. Every job I've had to do trainings, and I've had to do the training, and you get into the company induction and stuff like that. But somehow I would get that and still bring Neil Griffith into it. So just be, you just have to be yourself. So let's go up to speed before I am at now, the airline I work for. I'm just being myself. So I perform, I shine. I'm just being myself all the time. I'm just being myself. So I don't have to prove anything. And then I just go from promotion to promotion. And my name is known in the company. Every company I've worked for, people tell me, people still ask for you. Your name is still there. That name, I created the name for myself just by being myself, Neil Griffith. That's it. That's how you keep the job. And now let's get a little realistic here. There was a time I had a job and they were laying off. I got laid off. I came back to St. Lucia. That's when I was in the ships. I'd worked for the cruise lines. You work for companies that put you on the cruise lines and stuff. I never worked for the cruise line directly. And one of the companies laid me off. I remember when I came back to St. Lucia, my sister said to me, boy, I'm not even bothered about you. You're like a cat. You just bounce back quickly. So, yeah, they laid off. I didn't let that trouble me. Was I happy that they laid me off? No. But I just had to, it happened already. I just had to get over it and move on. Right. Within 7 days, I had another job.
So, Neil, right now, right now, we have a lot of people who've been laid off who may not be returning to work. The country is operating all businesses right now at full capacity. There is a 9 o'clock curfew from this evening, but a lot of people are not returning to work. This is the last bit. We ending with you just telling us what can these people do now, because these people still have bills, they still have to eat, they still have life. What can they do now in this time they've been laid off to get back into the process of things post COVID-19?
That's a big situation now. So it's affecting a lot of people. So keeping in mind, it's not just one set of people. The whole world is going through a situation right now. And I'll tell you honestly, I'm not saying it's a laughing matter and something to be happy about. It's a trying time for a lot of people. So in a situation like this, we have to look back in retrospect and realize there have been economic depressions before even our own time. Okay? And these were the cracking points for people to create new industry and stuff like that. New ideas came up. So I could just tell people, sit down with yourself. This is going to be tough. It's not going to just be, oh, I think positive and it's going to just work out for me. That's not all it takes. Get creative. In your downtime, don't stay depressed. Don't sit down feeling sorry for yourself and say, oh, you know, life is unfair. Don't be like that. Get creative. And if everybody starts to do that collectively, things will change for all of us. Okay? So don't give up. Maybe that's an opportunity to create your own personal business. Maybe people have to start getting into farming. Maybe it's time to realize, you know what, I've been working for somebody doing a job I never liked in the first place. I was making the money, but I always wanted to leave that job. So now it's my chance to be free from that. And if everybody starts thinking on their own personal level and collectively, things will change. I think so. Don't give up. Don't sit down. Things will get better anyway. It will change. The world will get back on its feet. It may take some time. I don't know how long. I'm not the oracle. As we speak, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if my job is on the line as well. I'm here in St Lucia. I'm getting paid. There has been pay cuts from my company as well. I heard they're laying off people already. They're downsizing. I could likely be downsized. I'm gonna keep it real and tell you I could probably be laid off too. I don't know. I could get an email and they'll tell me we'll not be taken. We'll have to reduce our crew complement. So if that happens, what will I do? I'll have to deal with it, like everybody else. So in case people might be thinking, well, he has a job, he's living the grand life. I might be in your situation. You never know. So I will not give up. I will find new ways to sustain myself if push comes to shove. You understand? Okay. So I know I like to beat around the bush and give a lot of analogies to make a one point so people get the clear picture. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't sit down in depression, feeling sorry for yourself. Don't get stressed. Don't get unhappy. Don't push yourself to that place, because if you do that, you're not going to be able to have the creative ideas that are there sitting inside of you that you can execute to bring your life to a next and higher level. That's all I could say.
Thank you so much. Wonderfully said. We appreciate your time. It was nice speaking with you. This has been Notes of Interest. Remember to like our Facebook page, like this post. Also, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel. For our first time, we're going to come back at 12 p.m. and we're going to be speaking with Parker Ragunanan, who works with the Department of Health. And we're going to talk about who can go back into work now that St. Lucia is open, and what are some of the provisions and the practices that we need to keep up with at this time. So we're back at 12 p.m. with Parker, and we're going to have more Notes of Interest today. Mr. Griffith, it has always been a pleasure speaking to you. Wonderful discussion. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, a great week,
you too.
And you will be back at work flying the skies.
Well, my wings are still growing.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.